What is up, Watch fam? Before we get into our next episode of Rant&h, I'm going to tell you guys to follow us on Facebook. It's the best way to keep in touch, to keep up with our content, not just on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, but throughout the week, whether it's a new piece of content from a user submission or article or new watches, whatever it may be. Follow us on Facebook because it's the most important medium. It's that simple. I don't need to sugarcoat it. It's the most important medium out there right now. Let's rant a little bit. I'm going to rant about your buying habits. I'm going to rant about how you guys consume sometimes and how I can help you consume better. I think that we all need to really stop being so hung up on retail shops. I think that the days of Tourneau, although maybe not over for them, should be over for you guys. You're never going to get a great deal there. And that's not their fault. I'm not saying they're ripping you off, but a good deal on a brand new watch, on a brand new sub, right? A good deal there is not nearly as good as a good deal on a pre-owned, extremely great condition sub. It's not even close. I mean, you could be talking, 20%, which is a discount that you'll never, get beyond their initial whatever they give, 5 or whatever it is that ADs are giving for various different brands. You can maybe from 5 to 15% on different watches. It's always different. But you should not fear great condition pre-owned watches. There really is nothing to fear if you're working with a reliable source. That sounds so obvious, but why a reliable source? Because of mechanics, because of servicing. A reliable source has their watches serviced, and if a reliable source, do not have their watches serviced, they will, stand behind that servicing. For example, if you buy a watch from Tourneau, yes, it's brand new, and you are guaranteed that the watch is in tip-top condition, that no one's messed it up before, it hasn't been water damaged, etc., etc. If you're buying from a shady dealer, you may get it for cheaper, and you're not guaranteed any of that. And I would not recommend that. The cheapest option is usually the most expensive, down the line. But there is a huge middle ground there. There's a huge middle ground of secondhand dealers. So many. I by no means have delusions of grandeur. That's just us. It's plenty of people out there. Even the ones that are overpriced are still cheaper than buying new. Which is an extremely great value prop. I don't recommend buying from Bob's Watches. It's just not where I would buy from. To me, it's too expensive. They are incredibly reliable, though. I mean, like, it's top notch. I've never heard even a complaint at all with anything. They really are. It's a big company, and they're reliable. Are they overpriced? Yes. Can you get the same watch for a better price and a better deal elsewhere? Absolutely. But even them, you're still getting a better deal than Tourneau, because you're buying pre-owned, and that is a huge value prop. These watches, they're basically brand new, functionality-wise. There is no problem with the watch. There could be a little nick, which you would know about before, or there may be a little scratch. But that scratch not only could save you a significant amount of money because the watch already took its big dive. It took its value dive. The watch went from 5 to 3.9 now, or 3.5 even. 3,500. And so what? You got a little nick. Or sometimes not even that. It's just as soon as a retail shop sells a watch and that watch walks out, it's worth less. 150%. With pre-owned dealers, of course, there is a margin there that they made that you will not on resale, but it's so minute in comparison. I get a tremendous amount of emails every week, and believe me, I love getting your emails, and I encourage you all to email me more and look for my advice. It doesn't matter really to me if it's a question about a watch on our shop, a watch anywhere, whether it's your current event or whatever it is, just shoot me and we'll talk back and forth about it. I find that interesting. But I get so many emails from people that are saying, hey, I just bought this watch last week from Tourneau and here's what I paid, blah, blah, blah. And the reality is, I can't help you now. That you bought it. It's 2 weeks old, it's 3 weeks old, you've worn it. Me telling you got screwed doesn't help. It doesn't help you now. And if anything, I'm the bearer of bad news. And I really don't want to be the bearer of bad news for Tourneau. It makes me look bad. It makes me feel bad. I hate to be the guy that said, yeah, you totally lost $1,800 just now. It's not a good feeling. So I would encourage you all from here on out to reach out to people who know a little bit more about market values of watches. Reach out to people who are more familiar with what you should be paying and what you could be paying if you were to go pre-owned. Pre-owned is good. There's nothing wrong with owning something that someone else owned before. The entire market of vintage is pre-owned, and this is an enormous market. People pay millions of dollars for watches that have been sweat on by somebody else. But it's no big deal. I mean, it's stainless steel. There's no issue. But there's this hang up with the market. And I don't blame you guys. No one has really worked to convince you as much as Tourneau has otherwise. You know, they spend a ton of money into marketing, into teamwork, and all these companies, they work together to make you buy new, to make you feel like you have to go and talk to a salesperson and buy from a showcase. Stop buying showcases. They're not worth anything. When you go to sell that watch, you can't say, oh, well, I bought it, you know, retail. No one cares, and they're just going to murder you on it, you know, in the long run. You could lose quite a bit of money. The more expensive the watch is, most of the time, the more money you're going to lose because there's leverage, and people are always going to have leverage on you if you bought retail, and you'll always lose money. Even the best case scenario, you're going to lose a lot of money in a lot of these watches. Yes, I don't. Please, you know, watch geeks that know about, you know, one-off watches that cost 200 grand. No, you're not necessarily going to lose. You actually might make money. But in most scenarios, in the vast majority of scenarios, if you're buying new, you're taking a hit, but you don't have to. You know, there is pre-owned, and the reality is there are so many people out there, so many people like me or like, you know, Bombs or whomever, that really should just be working together like, you know, Big Tobacco did to show that, you know, smoking didn't kill. You know, they really should be working together to prove or to show you guys, the consumer, that buying pre-owned is very good. There's tremendous value there, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's the same watch. You know, it's the same watch with the same value and the same construction and the same maker and design and history and everything. There's nothing to be ashamed of. And guess what? Your buddy's watch that he bought new is now pre-owned just like yours. So, I mean, the reality is it's so foolish to get caught up in this. I'm not calling you guys fools. I've done it as well. But don't do it again, or don't continue doing it. By no means think that you're going to, you know, suddenly be converted to pre-owned watch people. You know, you should definitely reach out more and probe more and think about why pre-owned is such a value prop. If you have any questions, please shoot me an email. I'm really dedicated to getting more people into not losing money. You know, it's unnecessary. So please shoot me an email at info@theoandharris.com. And you know, buy pre-owned, and then once you start buying pre-owned, then start buying vintage, because vintage is incredible, and it's a totally different market. Please don't be hung up, because it's really only going to hurt you. Stop buying showcases. Thank you guys for watching Rant&h. I may have been a little disorganized, but I think we had a little bit of fun, and I'm just looking out for you guys. Shoot me an email.